Well, there was no question that both through medical school and also through residency, there were a lot of people who felt that women just shouldn't, they weren't by nature designed to be able to be surgeons. That was just the way it was. Anyway, there were actually a number of people who tried to prove to you that you weren't tough enough to take it by making you do things that the other women didn't have, or the other male residents didn't have to,
like what?
to do. Well, it would, just an example, there was a procedure, so when the male interns would do it, they'd let them have a rest every now and then, but they wouldn't let me have a rest because they wanted me to say uncle so that they, and ask for a rest so they could say, well, what's the matter? Aren't you strong enough to do this? And so I would never give them the satisfaction, and I'd just say, okay, I can tough this out. I just felt I'm just putting my head down and doing my job. And I didn't want to be singled out, and I think that's what the people of my generation really, I wanted to be considered a surgeon first. I was not a woman surgeon. I did not identify myself as a woman. I identified myself as a surgeon. Forget about the gender stuff, that's unimportant. And that does have some, I think that has some bearing on the sort of attitudes that I carried through the rest of my career also, that not wanting to ask for special favors or entitlements or anything else. Patients would say, oh, nurse, can you get something for me? And one of my real irritations would be sort of like, I'm not a nurse, I'm a doctor, I won't tell for that, And yet, you fall into those little traps yourself.
Yeah.
And the one that I remember was, when my husband and I were both in residency, so we both have our MDs, and we were having a dinner party, and the phone rang, and I ran to answer it, and I picked it up, and I said, is Dr. Devaney there? And I said, just a moment, I'll get him. And I put the phone down, and I got partway into the other room, and I said, wait a minute, what am I saying? And I said, which Dr. Devaney did you have in mind? And, I caught myself falling into that trap sometimes, too, because you still sort of have conventional ways of thinking about things that are environmentally and historically dictated, and those things take a while to be obliterated from the national consciousness. Kind of you get somewhere, and then you look back and you say, geez, how'd that happen? You then realize that you've sort of achieved some kind of national reputation, that everybody kind of knows who you are, even though you don't know who they are. And you say, how did this happen? Because one is to not be hindered by some kind of artificial sort of barriers that they think that exist because someone has told them that they exist. Because I think that right now all opportunities are open and the sky's the limit.